What up, everybody? We're back with another fan episode of the La U Times podcast. Your host, Arnoldo Lozano, here with a new guest from a new Twitter account as of
Right.
recent, Tigres Tactics. Peter, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here with y'all. And yeah, started that new Twitter account I think last year, and it's been great. I think I've always wanted like to talk to people about Tigres, but none of my friends are like Tigres fans or really like big soccer fans. So it's really hard to like talk about like real like stuff going on with the team, day to day.
Dude, I have the same problem. Well, not as much anymore because I kind of had to get them acclimated with it. And my friends are big on going out to sports bars and watching games. So
Right.
I use that as an in to like have Tigres games, but most of my friends are into football,
Right.
golf, basketball. So having someone to bring awareness of Mexican soccer is just kind of tough, you know.
Yeah.
But good to hear that, man. Always happy that there's more people now contributing to the Tigres English community.
For
It's
sure.
it's been a long time coming, and I'm excited to where that possibly may go. So hell yeah, glad you're
Yeah,
doing that.
no, and going on that topic, to be honest, I feel like also Adidas is sort of like realizing that, like little by little with those friendlies that they're having over here, like every year. And I think like we can like jump on that train like before they get there, like we're already doing it. Like it's like the grassroots movement.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. In the future, it'd be really cool to see like some of us like collaborating with like the actual like official Adidas account. Like that'd be really cool. Or like
And
Adidas in general.
And I think that was, Lewis, who runs the Tigres English account. For the longest, man, I've been trying to get this guy like, hey, man, let's start a podcast. Like, you've been
Yeah.
doing this for so long, you got the audience already,
Right. Yeah.
but everybody's busy, and it's just hard to
Really
like
hard. Yeah.
really get everybody together. So I started like sort of with the idea, let's see what this can bring. And then
Right.
little by little, like, everybody is willing to contribute at least an hour here and there or whatever, but
Right.
it's worked out. So wanted to get the chance to meet you, and that way, we can collaborate together, like you mentioned, and hopefully in the future it is with the official team, and that way
Yeah.
we bring more of that experience of the fan base here because it's así como en español, incomparable, it's uncomparable.
Right.
So
No, and I think Thetis is like that we got really lucky with that. Well, not lucky, right? But that whole like 10 years of like the decade of Thetis being like champs back to back to back, I think that brought like a lot of like Texas audience to like be a Thetis fan, right? Because like having those like finals against America, like how many families are not like I just want to beat America and then like you know what, fuck it, I'll go for it, like I'll go for them. And yeah, I think that's what we're like seeing the results of now with the community.
I'm not saying that we are the Warriors, but the same thing that happened with the Warriors over winning what 2 years consecutively, and then missed one and got another one. When you
Yeah,
win so much, you're obviously going to attract a new audience. So I think the proximity to the border, and like you mentioned, the
right.
Tigre tour happening now.
Yeah,
Um, there's a lady, I'm not sure if you followed, her name is Mariana Camelo Mane, I think she goes by. She
maybe.
actually she started writing about Tigres in English, and she works for the team now, and she does a
Oh,
lot of like the press
that's
in
just
English.
yeah, no, yeah. I think Thetis English was talking to me about it. And I still call all of you guys by like your Twitter handle, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's easier, like it's I don't know. But no, yeah, that's really cool. Like that's something that we could definitely do. Like these podcasts, like this is going to be like big picture type ideas out there, but I was really thinking of how like recently Ditas Talk, the last account that joined,
That's
um
Woodsy. That's, we call him Woodsy.
Woodsy,
He's, yeah.
Woodsy. Gotcha. So you started posting like those like clips and those like screenshots of the game, like with actual tactics in it. And then like Theta's English is that has like that community engagement. Like he always knows how to like interact with his
Mm-hmm.
followers and get a good discussion going. And I love your podcast, and I think you've been doing great. And me on the other hand, I really like take a lot of effort into like making like designs. Like I love designing like stuff, and like like the I always hate seeing like the lineups and the pictures are all like really badly cropped or like like bunch of ads everywhere. It's like I really pride myself in like saying like, hey, this is my lineup, and it's clean and it's elegant, it looks nice. So it's like everybody has like something to contribute to this. So
Mm-hmm.
like in the bigger picture, right? Like we could be like an actual like Tigres English. Like I don't know if you know like fan pages in Mexico, like
Mm-hmm.
Solo Tigres,
Yep.
Like they started just like that. It was a bunch of people doing different stuff and they just all got together. And I feel like that's what we could eventually accomplish here, right? Like all of us have like a something to contribute to it.
And that was what I'm sort of imitating with this podcast is Solo Tigres does it. There's another Incomparables podcast where they
Right.
bring just the fan perspective. And as we talked about the championships and also just naturally of
Right.
Mexicans and Mexican Americans having kids and who have been Tigres fans in their families for a while, you're naturally going to get away from the Spanish language
Mhm.
as the I guess generations change with how much Spanish is being talked about
Right.
at the household. So I
Yeah.
think that's a great idea. That's what I not necessarily wanted to imitate, but was going for and
Right.
like gather people and see what we can create. And like in this case, you're such a you bring up the fact that you're a graphics person, you like creating things like that. That's always such a great thing because everybody sees social media differently. And so some
Right.
people that follow the official Tigres account might not be, a great fan of what they do, with the lineups, like for
Right.
example, you brought up or any other type of content.
Yeah.
There's many people that just provide different content.
Oh,
So
yeah.
providing that is fantastic.
Don't get me started on Tigres on YouTube, man. Like since like 2013, like I was begging them to like start like doing YouTube videos like that because I saw like the potential there and like nobody really ever did it. And they started doing it now recently. Like they started doing like little like question games with the players and stuff like that, like little challenges that they post here and there. But it's like you have such a big audience. Like you're just doing like really like old, outdated like media type things, right? Like
Hmm.
you have to jump on like these new waves of like social media with the way that people want to be entertained now, right? And like the way they want to connect with like their idols or like their favorite player, right? Because there's so much potential, man. Like there's so much potential for more fan interaction that just it's just a never ending cycle. Like you get more fans, like you're gonna get more engagement, you're gonna get more like recognition worldwide, like you're gonna get invited to better tournaments. Like it's just a better it becomes better for the fans. Like it's a never ending like
And the brand, brother, the brand is just such an easy to get behind. It's a tiger, like
yeah,
you
the colors,
see
man.
the colors too. You see the state. I mean, honestly, bro, my business is modeled immediately after the
Yeah,
colors of Tigres. Um, but anyways, it's just such a great possibility and opportunity that hopefully they're working towards. And like you mentioned, they're becoming aware of that,
right.
and the feminine side is also creating a big and huge
Oh,
impact
it's
that
insane,
would
right?
allow it to make that happen
Yeah.
faster.
I want to give props to like the Tigres feminine team because every game you watch, it doesn't matter if it's like right now, Jornada one, like those girls are like putting like 110%. Like they're not like they never stop running, like they never stop trying like their hardest. Like, man, it's so crazy to think that they've won so many tournaments and they're still like that. Like they still have that mentality. Like I think that's something that I wish like the Tigres like men would have had like after like 2019, 2018. You could tell that they weren't really like they knew they were great, a lot better than the competition. So that they were eventually like if they wanted to,
Complacency.
yeah, if they wanted to try, they could beat them, right? So
Hmm.
they would just wait and try till like semifinals, quarterfinals. And yeah, man, it's something that they could learn from the girls for sure.
And that complacency like transferred to the whole like atmosphere of like Tuca Ferretti with the lineups, when we
Yeah,
struggled at the end of his
man,
tenure, the
right.
players almost walking like we knew what we were going to get out of the game towards the end of the Tuca era.
Yeah,
Because, like you said, the complacency definitely kicked in. I mean, that 2019 championship, they just pulled it out of
right.
their ass.
1-0. That's that's it. Yeah,
And
no,
so
I agree, and I think we saw that like towards the end. I think that's why all of us are sort of asking for that change of coach. Not that we were playing bad, like we knew we could sort of compete. But I think just the players, that their mindset was just not there. And I hope that's something that Coca is bringing right now because I think I saw like a lot of the players running a lot more than with Miguel Herrera, to
yeah,
be honest with you. And maybe it's just Gurredan, right? Gurredan just like he's everywhere, right? So that's also a great
he
addition.
definitely injects a new sort of like pace in the game on his own. And I
Yeah,
think that naturally everybody adapts to it or has to adapt to it.
yeah. And it's crazy because you see like even Carioca was running like a lot more like pressuring up high. I really like the system to be honest with you. Like
Hmm.
no natural wingers like let Jesus Garza and Aquino come up whenever they want. Yeah, I think that's a solid squad. And tomorrow's game, man. Oh, I'm excited, dude. They were playing
Dude,
Pachuca already.
it's gonna be. I'm hopeful. It's a victory, and it's a great game, like a good back and forth game, and a lot of
Right.
saves. A lot of excitement at home. Opening season, opening game. I'm sorry. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the transition. So you saw all the championships. Actually, when did you start becoming a fan of the team?
Oh man, the worst years of Data's history. Or not,
Yeah.
I can't say the worst years, but it was, I remember I was probably like 15, 16. This was 2006. I think I've been going to the stadium a lot because my first memories like as a Adidas fan were like it's just I remember being at the stadium and like the flags and the smoke and all that. It was like when I was a little like kid. I don't know anything about that besides that my parents took me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I started really getting into it back in 2005, 2006, and I started going to the stadium like every other like game I was there making the drive from Laredo to Monterrey.
Wow,
Uh,
that's awesome.
but the thing is, dude, our team almost reached a 1 year streak of not winning at home, bro. Like I was going to every single one of those games, and I was like, "Am I the
No.
problem? Like, is it me? Like, am I cursing the team by going there?"
So
Do you remember that era?
that must have been that was the Trejo era, and then
Probably.
maybe Tolo Gallego. Like it was just the bad years. Like it
That was
was
horrible year,
we got into this routine of hiring like the hot
man.
coach of the league,
Right.
and then we would bring him here, and none of it worked out, and we
Right.
almost reached relegation if it wasn't for Lucas Lobos on his own carry the team.
Yeah, man. No, like, and that's the thing. Like, Lucas Lowe was like, that you know, going into one of the other questions you brought up, and I'm trying to look up the Tigres coaching, like history because I really want to remember who
Yeah,
who was
Sancho. I remember like in the fans in the stadium they had we won Once Antonio Sancho's because he was like the captain and he was the one
yeah,
that was like
yeah. But when
sticking out.
yeah, yeah, with David Toledo was his name. Do you remember
David
that?
Toledo was after that. David Toledo was the later years
Yeah,
as we got into the good years because he started
right,
playing the second holding position in the middle. But we had Lucas Ayala, Antonio Sancho,
right.
Tomas Campos, John Restrepo. We had gotten those two guys from Cruz Azul.
Yeah, then I might be confused on my dates because the team that I'm thinking about is like, yeah, 2007, 2008. Right before the golden ages. That's when I got into it.
So that must have been like who do you remember seeing? Like I remember like
Uh,
around that time,
yeah, it
Loco
was always
Abreu.
Lucas Lobos. Like I started really watching Lucas Lobos. No, it wasn't Loco Abreu, man. It was Kikin, bro. I
Kikín.
remember I used to watch Kikin Fonseca play, bro. It's crazy.
And then we brought Omar Bravo like 2 years after that, like in
Right, right.
2009, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah. But yeah, it was those years. I wasn't really into it that back then, but
Yeah.
I remember my favorite jersey because that's
Mhm.
another question you
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
So there's this the one that Walter Gatan wore, the one with the big like what is it like Carta Blanca in the front,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Hmm.
that one is like I don't know one of my favorites ever, man. Like it's a really old jersey, but I just like the aesthetic of it.
Yeah. I just actually got a new Walter Gaitan. I think I mentioned in the pod,
Yeah,
last one or the recent or the one before that. That was my idol, man, growing up. He was my favorite player. And then Lucas Lobos,
right,
I don't think he's it's to me is Gignac,
right,
Walter Gaitan, and Lucas Lobos as the attacking players who have been the
right,
best players that I've seen.
for sure.
Um, Lucas
Man,
Lobos deserves, a lot of praise for what he did on his own for a while. Walter
and
Gaitan should have won too.
yeah. No, I watched a little bit of Walter Gaitan. Like that's when I first started like sort of watching soccer. But with Lucas Lopez, man, it was crazy because we had such a bad team, bro. Like people
Mm-hmm.
don't get this. Like our team was so bad, but this guy, like he would pull like goals out of his ass. Like honestly,
Mm-hmm.
like he would make the play by himself
Do
completely.
you do you remember he scored an Olímpico black jersey against
Oh,
America, and he had Ariel Bogado, dude. This guy named from Atlas. We had Ariel Bogado as this forward with him up top. It was a nasty
oh
lineup.
my god, no, it's insane. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I remember like literally like one Delirio Audio Azul. I don't know if you remember that page, man. That was
I
like way back
recall it, but yeah,
2011, like Delita Audio Azul. But they posted a picture like after one of the goals, one of the games where Lobos had scored like two goals to like help us win the game. His knees, man, like bloody as heck, bro. Like super like bruised up, like all the fouls he would get, right?
yeah, he led
Uh,
the league every season in
yeah, no,
fouls committed against.
it's so crazy because like this guy like towards the end he wasn't even training, bro. Like he was literally just like walking around like in the training or just like getting ice on the knees and or injections and stuff like I don't know whose podcast it was. Some podcast in Spanish was talking about it, and it was crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, his career ended pretty quickly because of the knees, and
Right.
Damian Alvarez mentions it in the I think the Solo Tigres podcast,
Yeah, yeah, there you go. That's where I got it.
because he talked about the most talented player he's ever played with in
Yeah,
his tenure at Tigres, and he said he always praises Lucas Lobos.
it's insane,
Um,
man. Like without him, we wouldn't have been champs in 2011, and none of this would
no,
have happened. None of this would have happened at all.
no, absolutely not. So, talking about, is that who you would consider your idol, or the person that you idolized growing up or now?
Um, no, I hold him like really, really top in like history of theaters. Like you can't like not talk about this guy, right? Because he's like the crucible, like right when we started switching. Um, the only ever player that I've put on the jersey has been Damian Alvarez.
Nice.
Uh, just because when he joined, like I was a fan. Like this guy, like him and Lucas Lobos, I was like finally somebody that can like play at the same like pace as Lucas Lobos and sort of like
Mhm.
sacrifices just as much as Lucas Lobos. So it was awesome seeing those two play together, man. It was
Dude, he
uh,
was a menace on the wing. Like, you knew it was guaranteed. Like, even if we didn't score, like something was gonna happen, a
it was gonna
spark or a
end in a,
play.
like an attacking opportunity for sure,
Yeah.
like no matter what. And like I love like the golden age, like the golden age or like whatever this is right now with like Iñak and Nahuel, like this is like Galactico's like level for like Tigres right now. Like we can't compare that. But there's something like so nostalgic about like Lucas Lobos and Damian Alvarez and Mancilla. Like that squad was just I don't know. It
And they
was
and they played great ball, dude. That was the beginning of like Tuca ball, like making its mark in Mexican soccer, and like no one can figure it out, like the
right.
amount of passing and
We were
possession that they
doing it
have.
like in the box, like when we were about to score. Like I have videos like up online where like Lucas Lobos, like he's at the very end, he's passing to Mancilla to like Alvarez or like something like that, and it's just insane. Like we were so far ahead of the league. Like I don't know, I don't know what that was like based on, right? Because like we like it's all Tuca, right? But like
Mhm.
I don't know. It was really like at its time, it was revolutionary. It was sort of like what Spain was trying, what was accomplishing, right?
Yeah, after the World Cup, correct,
Exactly.
in 2010. Um, any particular or favorite moment throughout your fan history of
Oh,
Tigres?
it's super recent, man. It's super recent. Semifinals, Tigres down 3-0 with Atlas. Man, I was going to Monterrey because I was getting like LASIK over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, we have to go to the stadium. Like we have to. Like we're not gonna not go to the stadium. We got the tickets. And walking there, man, like everybody felt it. Like it's like if we all just like chant like the whole time, if we're all like putting in like our energy, like it's gonna happen. Like we're gonna come back. And bro, like it was hard because the first half was like pretty like tense, you know. Like
Mm-hmm.
once the goals started coming in, like we knew it was gonna happen, bro. Like the atmosphere was insane, and like even though right, like they scored the penalty at the end, like I think everybody for like a second, like that belief, like coming true was like magic, bro. Like it, you felt it in the air.
And I'm sure that's what like helped people like cope with the elimination.
100%.
I didn't actually get to watch that game, bro. I have a catering business. And so I was working at an event that day,
Oh
and I
man.
finished just in time, brother, just in time with like 3 minutes left.
Uh-huh.
And I saw the score, like we were up. And then
Uh,
I hadn't heard about the lineup yet. Like I
yeah,
just put it on my phone. I waited at this customer's house right
yeah.
outside to end the
You're just
game. And
watching.
I'm
Yeah,
just like, oh my God, because I saw the score updating on my phone,
yeah, yeah,
and I saw like after halftime we got the goals, and I was like, oh my God, like we might have a shot. We might have a shot. And so
yeah.
once I ended the event, I'm watching, I see that we're up, and then as soon as I start watching, I see the penalty. And I'm just like, you gotta be shitting me. And
Yeah, man.
so then I heard about the lineup. So I didn't really get that moment, bro. I didn't even want to rewatch it because like once I heard about the lineup, I was
Man,
like,
yeah,
what for? Like it wasn't even gonna matter anyways. But
yeah.
that's
No, it was
that's
so
great.
sad. It was really sad, but the thing was like I think everybody that watched it sort of like you saw how like Tigres brute forced it. They were like, we're gonna win because we're gonna win. Like it was just a matter of like because the goals weren't pretty, bro. Like it was two penalties. It was
A
Igor's
header,
header
yeah.
and Guignac's goal, and like none of them were like pretty plays, bro. Like it was really like
All
fighting for the
will.
ball. Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was
It's like it's
all
gonna
will.
go in. Yeah, and I think that's what left us with like, hey, like we're good. Like we can actually like win, if we get our shit down. But then like Piojo, like I don't know, he was I think it was a waste of time, man. Like I think that last tournament was like a waste of time, to be honest with you. Like they had the perfect excuse to like get rid of him. But obviously I guess you can't get rid of him like when he's in the semifinal,
Yeah. I was gonna ask you about that. Did you anything that you liked? Or I mean, it sounds like you're on the same boat that we all are. It was just a complete utter waste of time.
No, I think it was needed. After Tuca, I think we had to swing that far wide out. Like we were with Tuca over here, and we had to just go the other route. Like complete
Mhm.
disorder, complete like chaos on the field. Just so that the players sort of like realize, hey, like that was what worked. And like now that the players know, because if they didn't go through that, like I don't believe that they would have been like, yeah, let's go back to that. Like if they didn't see how bad it was, they would have kept trying it. So I think they saw that. Then Coca comes in, and Coca's actually like, hey, like I'm sort of like that, but a little bit more modern and more like pressing
Mhm.
on the on defense. And they like it because it feels like from what Igor was saying in the press conference before the game. He's like, yeah, you guys are gonna know like how we play and our play style. It's gonna be pretty clear. Like it feels like they understand it and they're fully behind it for now.
Yeah, I agree. I talked about it in previous episodes and in person with people. I think the idea was to get a media championship in his first year, and if
Yeah,
it worked out, like then you rebuild the team with him.
right.
But I agree, that's a great perspective on it. Saying that the players needed that drastic change because it definitely made us look bad and
Yeah,
it, it,
horrible, bro.
made,
Like
it
they don't want to be
exposed a
there.
lot of players, bro. Like we talked about all these guys aging and I've talked about it recently too. Like the resurgence of this guy establishing an order with the team. Like
Yeah.
I get people wanting Carioca to leave because of age, but if he's gonna be the
No,
starter, bro, if
I'm
he's
Carioca stan, bro. Like
same,
Carioca, he like out of all the players, like he's the player that I like watching the most. Like just give him the ball and I can watch that for like an hour, bro. Like, I think he's like a really smart player that we're like underutilizing with Miguel Herrera, with everybody. Like he should all like the ball should always go through
through
him.
him.
Always, bro. Like because he's always the one guy that's like, hey, like instead of just like keeping the flow of the ball, like I'm gonna like do a cut inside this way. I'm gonna retain the ball. Like I'm gonna break like the timing that everybody has, right? And that disrupts like the team so much. But people don't think about those things, bro. Like people are like, oh, just 1-2 touch. It's like, no, no, no. You need this guy that says, hey, I don't like the tempo. We're gonna go this way.
Bro, and the way that he does it, it's almost
Oh,
like
bro,
slow
enjoy to
motion,
watch.
dude. It's slow motion. Like he might even just move a hip and he changed the entire way of like the progression moving
Yeah,
forward.
yeah.
And
So
so
yeah, go
I
ahead.
think, a lot of those players, got exposed with him, but with this guy, I think everybody has a shot. I mean, we saw the Luis Quinones celebration in that goal. It
Right,
seems like he's fully on board. And,
right.
it's hard to like process how this guy has been playing for so long with the squad and like how many shots he's gotten to play.
You're right.
But the guy has no one else gives you the back and forth pace and like the
Yeah, no,
running that
his
he does.
conditioning is crazy. Yeah, like he can run. Like I think that was the meme last year that he was just like your professional Adidas sprinter, bro. Like that's all
Yeah.
he does on the field. And it's funny though, but like we do have to give him props for that. I think what's going to be really important tomorrow is when they call his name on the lineup, like our fans going to boo him
Right.
or not. Like when he gets the first ball, like our fans, like I think the section is going to boo him no matter what.
Hmm.
But if it's more claps than that, I think he might get like super engaged. Like if people actually like cheer him on,
And
like
we
that would be
need
really
that,
cool to
dude.
see. Yeah,
We
yeah.
need
Hopefully
that.
everybody gets that. Like everybody understands. Like if tomorrow, if you're like, hey man, like pass is the pass, like new tournament, like let's go, like we're behind you. Like oh, bro, like he'll turn up back to like those seasons where he was doing like 5-4 assists per season guaranteed and goals
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, no, I mean, and his ability to, his pace of having back and forth, the way that he pressures the ball, and then, you can give him the ball on the wing and he's going to create you a one-on-one easily.
Right.
So we need him at a high level.
Yeah.
He's very talented. I think that he just had very bad moments. And,
Right.
myself included, get caught up in the game and people wanting to win or our team wanting to win.
Yeah,
So,
we go a little hard with the jokes.
yeah,
After a while, I was like, you know what? Like whenever I see this guy playing, I'm just gonna think of him as comedic relief, and I'm not gonna be mad at him for it. It's funny. Like it adds to the game. It adds to the entertainment of the game. If you just see it that way,
absolutely.
right? If you don't let it frustrate you, it's pretty funny, man. Because man, he had some bad luck last season. It was hilarious, dude.
Anything that excites you about this season? You talked about the new system, the order, the players. Seeing the old system with Piojo. Now this, what they were a little bit more accustomed to playing. What gets you like, hey, this could be a promising season. We might get it finally
Uh,
after 4 years.
yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to be like too excited yet. Just because the first like 11 versus 11 with Santos, like it was pretty it was pretty tough sometimes. Like I think first half we maybe had like 25%, like 25 minutes of control of the
Hmm.
first half. But Santos really was able to like to try to like get in there and do some damage. But we held on, and we held on with Diego Reyes. So like that's really exciting, like right now we're gonna see Samir go in for him. And it's like, okay, so we have like Aquino, Igor, and Samir that are like all like pretty good right now. Like I don't know, I don't get why people like hate on Steve Angulo so much. Like this last game, like I saw him save us like a couple times. And yeah, his passing is not like the best, but defensively, like I trust the guy. Like he's a shield. And nobody runs like him in defense. But yeah, I think that's what excites me the most. It's like we have these three solid defenders, like shields to the team. Like if the guys up top can figure it out and like our system like works, like it'll be great. But like our defenders are gonna save us a lot of times.
What do you think about specifically Chuy Garza and the youth development with the team? Do you see like that being a promising thing in the
Uh,
future? Like we might get to developing. Do you even want Tigres to be a developing team?
Right. Yeah, I think the argument can be made that Tigres isn't a development team. But that's not to say that like Real Madrid doesn't have canteranos, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if they're stars and they get to like show up in a game and do good, like that means they're really good, right? Like if they can show up at that level. I think that's something we gotta, give props to Miguel Herrera on him because
Yeah.
he probably wouldn't have gotten as much minutes with Duca or with anybody else for that matter. It's just Miguel had to work with what he had, and he worked great. I still think he has a lot of growth, which is good. It's exciting. He could be like a better version of Chaco Rodriguez. That's
Mm-hmm.
sort of like how I'm imagining him. Um, but I wouldn't be mad if we brought like an actual like fully like already fleshed out player for that spot. And I think that goes back to like we like these signings with Tigres like Goreran, and if we get like this, I think Santos Borrell is like falling through.
Yeah.
But if we get like Nico Ibanez or somebody like that, like it shows you like that the directiva saying, hey, we're gonna win this tournament. Like
Yep.
we're gonna bring on like the big guns, and I think that's how data stayed relevant like those like 10 years, right? Like it was like, hey, you know what? We're gonna bring in Valencia, we're gonna bring Edu
Vargas.
Vargas.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're bringing in on big signings. So yeah, sure, like we can call it like we're paying a win. But that's like that's how like the biggest teams in the world do it. Like that's how you have to do it to compete. So yeah, I mean I'm excited for that. I hope we get one more signing at least, and I think we have a super solid squad.
Who do you get rid of or sacrifice in this case to bring in that new attacking player?
Uh, like for the extranjero spot or
Mm-hmm.
just on the field?
Extranjero spot.
I think it's simple for me. I think Diente has a lot of value still, like in South American teams.
Yeah.
So I think he'd be easier to place. Well, actually, I think Carioca would probably be easier to place, but Carioca has, I think, more value in this squad than Diente, just because we have so many people in that spot, right? Like we have Flo, we have Quinones, we have Cordova.
Cordova.
Like we don't need four players for one.
Correct. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough decision. Uh, just to wrap it up here, closing, getting to the last part of it. Um, wanted to talk to you about what your future. I guess what do you expect your new hobby with Tigres Tactics, which is a great logo. Now it makes sense. Well, talking about graphics, I was looking at it once, like we were talking and chatting about setting this up. I looked at the your background in your profile, and
Yeah.
it's a really cool logo.
Thanks.
So wanted to ask you a little more about that. What's your vision with that? What do you expect to do with that sort of thing?
There's this account, and I'm gonna have to blank on the name, but it's this guy that posts a lot of like video clips from like Monterrey and Tigres games,
Mm-hmm.
and he breaks it down, right? He breaks down like the pressing, he breaks down like the mistake in the play or the correct play, and I really want to do that. But it's really hard for me right now because I have like another hobby.
Yeah.
So I have this I don't think I have my hat close to me. It's just this other I guess like brand, I guess you could call it, like Shinsekai Collective. So for them, like well, for me, I do like YouTube videos, like we do a story, but I don't know if you heard of Chat GPT. It's like an AI bot, it's like a
Mm-mm.
chat bot. Well, you can ask it anything, right? So we ask it, we give it a prompt for a story, and he writes us a story like every day, and we post it there like as a blog, and then we get like illustrations from another AI. So it's
Wow.
pretty cool. Yeah, no, it's cool stuff. But that's sort of like my main focus, and Tita's tactics is more for me to like talk to the community for now.
Yeah.
But if I do have time, like I do record all the games, like all the games that happen, I record them, and I'll be writing down notes if something cool happens. But like there hasn't really been much to talk about. Like after the red card, I was like, well, you can't really analyze this game because it's not
Mhm.
valid anymore, right?
So
But yeah,
did you play? I'm assuming you played throughout your childhood.
I started playing back in middle school, and I stopped playing like in high school. I played in college, like indoor and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it was fun times, man. I've been saying that I'm gonna start playing again soon. But yeah, I used to play on the. I was like a cam, but I started as a striker because I didn't like running, man. Like I could not run, bro. Like I was like, I'm just gonna wait up here and like wait for the ball. But yeah, no, it was pretty cool. I played defender also, like right back. And that was about it. Like right back, like left wing. Left wing was my favorite though, like to be honest, because I would get like inspired and I was like, what like when I was playing, I was like, what would Damian Alvarez do like in the
Mhm.
situation? And I
Are
was
you
like, oh,
left footed or right
no,
footed?
I'm right footed. I'm right
Oh,
footed.
nice.
It was cool playing on the left wing. It was really nice. Um, but yeah, man, I might start playing again. I'm in San Antonio. If anybody has any games or plays anywhere, yeah, I might be into it soon.
Is there a community out there, or are you on your own basically? If you want to watch Tigres or enjoy games, like it's basically you, or do you gather people, maybe friends, family?
Usually, my wife's family, they're all Santos fans,
Oh
like
wow.
hardcore Santos fans, man. So it's been a fun couple of years for me. But yeah, we like if we're gonna play, we'll watch them with them. Or I honestly enjoy watching the games on my own, like a lot, man, because I get so like into it, like I get to like look at it like while I'm tweeting, like it's notes about the game, like
Mm-hmm.
it's like what I'm seeing live, and it like I feel like I just digest the game a lot more. But for big games, obviously it's better to watch it with people, and I'll go to Laredo and watch it with my friends. But yeah, I don't know if there's a community out here. I know there's a Texas community, but I don't know
That's
San Antonio.
my target is to. I don't want to necessarily be like a group that like has to meet all the time, but I definitely want to get people together, and that's my target this season. There's
Yeah,
about 4 guys here in Houston, especially there. Sean, you've heard him on the podcast.
yeah,
Josue, they're here, and I just want to create that sort of like, hey, come watch the game with people and talk about it. Obviously, we speak Spanish, or we might all speak Spanish, but there's a really cool way of like now having that conversation in English, because I
yeah.
grew up always talking about it in Spanish. And so
Right.
now having that opportunity to talk about it in English, I love it. So um, that's kind of what I want to do with
Yeah,
that. But
that's awesome. Yeah, no. Let me know. I think for sure if we go to like any like if Thetis comes to play any games in Texas, like we should always like just be
meet up.
aware like who's going, like where
Yeah.
you're sitting, and like get to see each other there. That'd be really cool. And yeah, maybe for like big games, or maybe this CONCACAF season, man, we might have some games somewhere.
Yeah.
Why
I'm,
not?
I'm planning to go on to Orlando, but
Orlando. Ooh.
when I first saw the schedule, I was like, "Oh heck yeah, I'm down, I'm in." And then I realized it's spring break, and I looked
Uh,
at flights, and then I was like,
Kind of
"Do
pricey,
I
yeah.
drive?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I can drive, but it's still a long time." So
yeah, super
I'm kind
long.
of now debating it because I didn't
Right,
realize it was spring break.
right.
Um, but just the last couple of questions here, bro, before we go. Um, you talked about growing up, going to the stadium, and then your last experience at the Atlas game in the semis.
Yeah.
Are you down with the idea of a new stadium, or you want to keep El Uni, El Volcán?
I think Looney has like a lot of like magic. Like you can feel like the magic like when you're there. Like there's something about it. Like it's not like it's alive. Like that stadium. Like even when I've gone like when it's empty, like we go to like the Tira Tienda to like buy stuff there at the stadium, and it's empty, but you feel it. Like you feel it like a sleeping volcano, and like
Mm-hmm.
it blows up every like it erupts every other Saturday, right? So it's hard, man. Like I wish we could just like remodel it, to be honest, but that's like a super even longer, like and more expensive task, I think, than building a whole new stadium. I don't know. I mean, I think we can have it there, and we can leave like a part for like a remembrance, like a museum or something like that, with like these recent championships and all that. Like that'd be really, really cool. I think we have to make a new stadium, to be honest.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I was kind of keen on the idea of like keep El Volcán,
Uh-huh.
but with the whole like transformation of the brand and everything that's happened in the last decade, and with like what I'm becoming aware, and we know we've sort of mentioned it at the beginning we started speaking in the podcast, was the realization of the brand growing in the United States. So I feel like eventually you're gonna have to match the level of
U.S. stadiums.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it sucks because El Volcan would have been a great thing to like have forever.
Yeah.
The Rose Bowl, I went in California a while back. Still fantastic stadium. You can hear the
That'd be really
rumbling.
cool. Yeah, if they can leave it there, like please do so. But I think it's just the problem is just like parking lots, right? Like it's
Yeah,
just really hard. Like unless they say like, hey, let's do away with parking lots and let's just like make it so that like easier for people to get here, like subway, train, like metro, bus, whatever. That'd be really cool. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I think I agree with you. Like it'd be really cool to leave it like as like the Rose Bowl and play like cups there or something.
yeah, exactly.
That'd be awesome, bro. That'd be the best.
Cool, cool, cool. And lastly, brother, give me your all-time 11 for Tigres.
Oh man, I mean, well, Nahuel for sure
Easy.
has to be there. Gignac has to be there. Um, let's see, my four in the back. Oh man, to me, just because it was part of the 2011 squad, like it has to be Torres Nilo and Jimenez on the sides. Like
Mm-hmm.
Torres Nilo was just insane, man. It was like watching a horse, bro. Like you were watching a horse run like on that wing, like
Mm-hmm.
nonstop. Um, and then I didn't watch like Batocletti. I didn't see like Claudio Suarez, like these like great defenders that we had. So I have to go with like Juninho for
Yeah.
me. I think insane leader on this on the team for the defenders. And honestly, I'm gonna throw a curveball here. I was gonna say Guayala, but I personally think Salcedo.
Mm-hmm.
No, Salcido, Carlos Salcido.
Carlos Salcido, yeah.
When he came on to that squad in 2011, also like that man was a monster. Like in the mid, like he started playing like as a defender and then moved up to the midfield, CDM.
Correct.
So yeah, those are my back four. Midfield, oof, I don't know. This is hard. This is really. I think I have to go to Carioca and yeah, Carioca and Pizarro. Like that team would be insane. And up top, it's hard. Like I want to put Sobeys, but he was just super short time. Like lived here,
Yeah.
so I have to go like Damian Alvarez, Lobos, um, and who would be my right wing? Oh, that's tough. Have we had any good like?
Everybody mostly says Danilino.
Nah, he could have done more for the team, man. He
Yeah.
could have been more committed, 100%. No, it's hard, man. Yeah, I would probably put like maybe Edu Vargas, like even if he's not there, Edu Vargas or Valencia, either one of them would be an insane right winger for us.
That's a solid squad, brother. Hey man, thank you for your time, bro. Thanks for everything, and I appreciate you coming on. Great conversation.
Yeah, hope we stay in touch and we'll keep seeing predictions for tomorrow. We win 3-0 versus Pachuca.
2-0. I'm going with it. Thanks a lot, brother. We'll stay in touch.
Yeah, for sure. Have a good day, bro.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.